Yes, my people, welcome back to another episode of Where's My Podcast. And today we're joined by another special guest. We're joined by my guy, Kobbi Banks, founder of Bywave 40F. Kobbi, love for coming on the podcast, bro. So, broski, as somebody that watches the podcast, obviously you know how I start every episode. And basically, I start by saying why you, the guest, are in the chair. And obviously with you, there's a number of reasons. I'll say the first one is, I read that interview that you did with, was it Cultural Crypt?
Yeah, Culture Crypts. Yeah.
I read that. And excellently written, by the way.
Sick.
The person that wrote it basically said something like, black people are not on monolith. They're whoever the fuck they want to be. Excuse my French. But I love that line, and I feel like you represent that to the T. Like, one thing I've witnessed from seeing your journey, like, although I only came across it not too long ago, I just feel like you're yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to be anyone you're not, and you're kind of emitting that energy through your brand. So I want to talk about how you've been able to be that type of person and why you kind of want to share that sense of individuality from the clothing that you make. And then obviously, I just want to tell them a little story about how we basically came across each other. So you know me, wonder where's my TV and that. I was just looking for some content to make. And Clint obviously uploaded a tweet and he basically said, yo, if you got a brand or whatever, reply to this tweet so everyone can see yours. So obviously I'm looking through, I'm seeing some brands that are decent, some brands better than others. Then I come across yours. I said, yo, what is this? I said, yeah, this is somebody I need to pay attention to. So I remember I made the post, I put you first in that, and I think this was April last year. Yeah. And since then, I've seen your brand go from strength to strength. And I've almost kind of seen you grow in a short space of time as well. Like, your hair's got longer. The type of stuff you're making is different than that. And I really want to talk to you about how your journey's been so far, what got you into fashion, and where you hope to take the brand. So Kobbi, thanks so much for coming on the podcast, my bro.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you like that intro? Hey, don't let your head swell too much though. Stay humble, you know.
Nah, I'm humble, always. I'm grounded.
But obviously, you know, the first question is always, cool, so what was your upbringing like? What was it like growing up? Take it away.
So cool. I was born in the Midlands. A place called Shrewsbury, you know Shrewsbury?
Yeah, the football team.
Yeah. Little town in the Midlands. Stayed there till I was 5. And then...
Do you remember it, by the way?
No, okay. I don't remember at all, which is really worrying. Like, my mum's always like, oh, do you remember this? I did this for your birthday. I'm like, nah. But yeah, so then my childhood started for me when I moved to Ghana. So I was like 6.
Okay.
I was in Ghana for 2 years, 6 to 8. I remember that vividly. I remember getting off the plane. I remember going to my granddad's spot, everything there. So 6 to 8, I was there, and then I moved back to Essex, and then been situated in Essex ever since.
Okay. And do you remember Ghana?
Like, so vividly.
Okay,
like, so
I'm happy
much.
you said that, because obviously the main reason I asked what was the beginning of your journey just in life is because I'm always interested to see kind of where fashion comes into the picture. So growing up, those 2 years that you spent in Ghana, do you remember looking around and be like, wow, there's so much color. People are dressed a certain way. I like this, I like that. Was fashion ever something you thought about at that point?
I'd say one aspect of fashion in Ghana was church. So church Sunday, it's a thing. Like, go get fly, everyone, nicest clothes. All the women get dresses made just for the Sunday, like new dresses tailored. So I remember that, but it was never like on a fashion, like, oh, like this means something to me, I'm gonna go and do this. I just remember people caring about clothes. And then my granddad was like pivotal person in my life from early on, like, and he was always smart, well presented, like really cared about how looking clean. He was always clean, but he was really fashionable with it too. But clean, that was the main thing. He had like really fly, big glasses. And he used to tell me this thing was like, you tuck your shirt into your underwear, and then you put your trousers on, so then your shirt never comes like above and you look messy. So you're always presentable. That's how you stay like fresh, tidy. So yeah, those are the 2 things I say. The women getting really fly for church Sunday, like my grandma, my mum, all my cousins. And then my granddad just being really presentable all the time.
So from a very, very early age, you realized the importance of how you present yourself.
Yeah, with clothes.
With clothing.
With clothes, because the thing with my granddad's so well respected in Ghana, in Takoradi. I'm from Takoradi.
Okay.
Yeah. bro, he's a guy. Like, we'd be in the car. He used to drive me to school. Like, people knock on the door. He used to be on like a show, isn't it?
Okay.
He talk about like marriages, like counseling.
Oh,
so he was known, isn't it? So
he was a celeb them times, basically.
More time, like local celeb, like local MVP.
So from good stock.
Time. But yeah, so he was always the guy. So he had to be presentable because people knew him, like he was known. So yeah, that's the thing with fashion.
Cool. So moving to Essex. Ghana and the UK, very, very, very different places. So what was the journey like in Essex? Obviously, you moved there from when you were 8. So we're talking all the way from primary school to secondary school. So yeah, what was it like when you first come over? Do you remember being the fresh Ghanaian guy and that?
Yes, like, okay. So I went to international school in Ghana. So it was quite transferable in terms of the education system. And the reason, like, because everybody in international school is predominantly English speaking. So I've never had an accent. I've always kind of talked this way. So that wasn't a problem. And like, I know that is a whole thing for people coming and just...
It's tough sometimes,
It's
man.
tough. Like, I heard, who talked about it recently? There's an artist called Kwesi. He's Ghanaian. And he's...
Kwesi Arthur?
Nah.
A different one?
Maybe different one, yeah. Okay. But Kwesi, he makes music, he's super hard. And I just seen this magazine and he was talking about how he came across and that he just got bullied when he was young, which is peak. But yeah, I didn't have that experience. But when I came, I remember just being cold, like freezing. That was my first thing. Like, bro, it's freezing here. I went to a Catholic school and we had to wear shorts to school.
Shorts and the high socks?
Shorts and the high socks. So my mum comes and like, he can't do this, as in it's literally too cold for him. His body hasn't
adjusted to the stuff.
And they was like, he has to do it. So that was primary school. Primary school was always cool for me. I was just like kickball. I was.
What team do you support?
I used to support United. I'm a neutral supporter now. I'm not that deep. Bro, thing with football is too emotionally draining. Like, I see certain man moody whole weekend because their team lost. I can't do that.
You can't do that. Wise man. I wish I made that decision when I was your age as well.
You look like you support Arsenal.
How do you know?
You just look like Arsenal. Those niggas got that pain in their eyes.
Pain, oh my days. But we're decent now, you know.
Bro, it's just like, you know what? The fact that you're decent is even worse.
Why?
Because then you get that clinch of hope. Like, you man was in a title race last year. Where's the title? There's no title.
Hey,
that's painful.
Still, hey, cut the cameras, bro. I'm not doing this no more.
No, it's painful because you're actually good. That's the thing. For me, it's either support a team that's shit and I'm just like, yeah, go you. Like, you try your best. Or like, turn up and win some stuff. I'm not gonna do neither, so yeah.
Wise man. But sorry, I went on a tangent. So yeah, you was playing football, secondary school. Keep going, keep flowing.
I've always been like good with my books, like always been smart, and then kicking ball. That's all I cared about really. Was football. Not artistic at all.
Interesting, you say that.
Not artistic at all.
So what sort of subjects were you studying around like 15, 16 GCSE and all that stuff?
All science-based.
Okay.
Science, yeah. I did triple science. I did ICT. Then I did PE.
Okay.
But yeah, just nothing artistic at all.
You know how you say that, Kobbi? Was there ever like an artistic sort of itch inside of you that you had to suppress because of what was expected of you, or were you genuinely never artistic?
I just wasn't good. Like, to this day, I can't draw that well. I'm not that good at drawing. But I always loved art, especially when I got to like 14, 15. Like, I always loved art, as in taking it in as a consumer. I remember on one of my birthdays, me and my mum went to Amsterdam. Just went to loads of exhibitions, like, a lot. So art has always been important to me. Like, not even, I say like paramount to my life. Music, actual art, as in like paintings, and then I always loved clothes. All these different forms of art, but I was never making it. I just never saw a need for me. And anytime I did, I always used to try really hard. I just never looked good. When I was at GCSE, not GCSE, you know when you do art like year 9? Just doing it. I remember I used to try so hard. You know when the teachers come around and giving like, yo, like, this is cool. Like, I just never got that, yo, it's cool. And of course, everything else in school, I was passing.
Yeah, you was excelling in those things.
Yeah. I've always been like top set, making it work. And like, they're just never taking me in. I just used to be like, whoa, like. But then I realized probably like, like, it's not my thing. I'm not artsy guy. So
you see how you mentioned that you were always interested in clothes. So what was your style like when you started being able to almost like dress yourself? Do you know what I mean?
So cool. When I used to get dressed by my mum, silly fly, like dumb fly. Like my
Yeah.
baby pics dumb fly because my mum's fly,
Okay.
my pops is fly. Like everyone can put it on in my family. My little sister fly. Everyone can dress. So when I was young, my mum dressed me. I was just wearing swagged out stuff. Loads of Gap.
Yeah.
But like swag.
Gap was a shit them days, bro.
Well, Gap's the shit today. Like, I got a little hoodie, but yeah. And then when I got to the point of dressing myself, I went for a tangent where I just wasn't fly. It was a good 2.5 years. I just wasn't putting it on, like just following what everyone was doing around me. Naturally, I'm only a kid, isn't it? And then I remember I got to one point. This is a crazy. If you remember this, it'll be crazy. But there used to be Hype. You know, you have Hype, tie-dye stuff, yeah. And then there was a brand called Ratchet. Ratchet, yeah. And Ratchet is crazy for so many reasons because one, it was just a guy on social media who started it, like on Instagram, like everything today. But this was back in the day, like, I want to say like year 7. I was in year 7. So like maybe like 2013.
Okay.
So I must have found something on Instagram and then purchased it like from a link, like everything how we do nowadays. But back in those days, that was unheard of. So I remember I had one fit. It was like Ratchet t-shirt. No one's got that. Everyone was Hype. I'm on Ratchet. And some jeans. And then I remember I got Hirachis early. But I was early onto the wave. And that's one of my fits I remember. Like, I was different. Everyone was wearing this and I was wearing this. And that feeling, ever since I had that, I was always coming back and forward with that. I do stuff that other people did, but it's always like, yo, let me try to add something that people aren't wearing.
Why do you think you had that? What do you think made you do that? Like, want to be different in that sense?
I don't even know, because it wasn't like for attention. I wouldn't even say it was for attention. I guess it was just, I always feel like if everyone's moving one way, like, just try and move a different way. It feels natural to do that. That's even why, like, so this tracksuit has no logo in it except from this little grey tag. Was at the moment everything's so logo heavy based.
Logo mania's coming back,
like, yeah. So do something a different way because someone will appreciate it and that's nice. But also for myself, it's like just communicating something, giving something different to the world. Like that's one thing I'm so heavy on. There's so much in the world, so if you're gonna contribute, even if it's the way you dress, can you give something slightly different?
When you started to quote unquote dress different, how did people react around you?
I don't know, because at school, like, I'm from Essex. I was the only dark-skinned boy in my whole year. It's cool. 250 people. Then in year 10, another guy came in. It was me and him. But I used to kick ball. Like, I feel like I've always been cool. I knew myself. I was confident in myself. So I think people thought it was hard. But I may be just tripping. Like maybe people were like, "Yo, this guy's on some other stuff," and I just didn't know. I've never really paid too much attention to like what other people think. So I'd be lying if I said I really know. But I think people thought I was rocking it, putting it on.
You know that you added the context of being the only other, well, one of the few dark-skinned guys in your school. I find it even more interesting that you were kind of willing to step outside of what everyone else was doing, because especially when you're like othered in certain places, all you want to do is fit in.
Yeah.
So I proper rate that you were like, bruv, I'm just going to be myself. Do you know what I'm saying?
I feel like naturally, as you said, I think it's so perfect how you articulate that, because it was either try and fit in, I'm never going to fit in, bro. I'm black. They're white. It's never, and that realization of calm, it's not going to work. Like, do your own thing. And that didn't just happen. Like, I remember when I was a kid, bro, I watch Match of the Day every day. There's these lit white strikers all making goals. They all have Mohicans. Bro, I was to my mom, I'm getting a Mohican. I have an afro.
Your mom
was like, it's not gonna, mom. So we bought the texturizing cream, yeah. This is funny because I just seen my passport picture. It was my Ghanaian one. And like, it's me with this like black afro pushed together like mohawk, and it looks so whack, but like, it's so necessary to go through these journeys. And like, I can look back at it and laugh now, but like, it helped me find myself. Yeah.
By experimenting and trying different things.
Like,
wait, so are you saying that you S-coded your hair? You done a little texturizing thing?
I texturized it, but not even to be curly. I wanted it to be straight so I could mohawk it. It needed to mohawk. So I looked like, who was rocking a mohawk then? It was that trend where like guys used to have a little quiff at the front, mohawk at the back. There was some lit striker. I don't know who he was, but wanted to be like, bro.
You wanted to be like him.
Was it him?
Balotelli.
Yeah, Balotelli's lit though. Like
He is lit.
He's lit. I like,
Big fly.
But it wasn't Balotelli though. Because if it was Balotelli, I'd stand on it and be like, yo, like
Yeah,
I was
inspired,
that's swagged out. But it wasn't him.
Okay, no,
I'd be like,
I'm gonna go back and have a look actually.
yeah, nah.
So cool. We've gone through secondary. Still, like fashion hasn't come into the picture yet. So cool. Obviously, you were saying you excelled in school and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you then went on to uni. What did you study? Where did you go?
So I went to sixth form and then I went to uni. I went to University of Leeds and I studied economics. Yeah.
And what was that like?
Hard.
As in hard, as in difficult, or like
difficult? Yeah, dumb hard. Like, it's just a hard subject. Like, initially I loved it. I remember I fell in love with economics in sixth form. And my reason for liking economics initially was about economic development. As in, like, everything for me was tailored about going back to Ghana and making change. Like, economically. That was it, the whole thing. It was that realization that things are wrong for this reason. You can do this in developing countries to potentially help people. That was always my motivation. And then, cool, you're in year 13, you start to realize that, whoa, like, I need a career, like, this is my life. So I'm looking to economics, I'm typing it. And they're like, some of these guys, financial analysts, 70K a year. So I'm like, okay. So another motivation comes in. So I'm like, calm. And then that one kind of blurred the other one, but it was like, cool, economics is like,
it's a good career path.
Yeah, and I'm African, isn't it? As I said, going back to what we were saying off camera, just like our parents moved here, nothing, like try and make something steady for yourself.
You got to make that sacrifice.
Exactly.
But I skipped a bit because prior to starting uni, you had already started doing stuff within fashion, right?
So yeah, it was lockdown. So before I went to uni, I didn't finish my year 13. I was in lockdown. So they had that whole thing crazy. Bare time on our hands. And what would make me do this? I don't know. I just remember I got given a blank pair of black cargos and obviously loads of time. So I just got like a silver paint pen and then put them there. Remember getting my little notebook, sketching out a few designs about what I was going to draw in there. And then the two things I was going to choose, it was either surf or wave. And I know it all ties back to Young Thug, like, bare rappers used to rap about waves. There's a Rich the Kid song called New Wave. Like, I just remember that, and I just, as I said, music's always been so like important to me. So I remember wanting to do something that, if my brand was to go clear, bare rappers would talk about it.
Oh, that was your thinking.
Yeah, that was it. So it was either wave or surf. I think. Do you remember the Young Thug song called Surf?
Surf.
Yeah. So it's either one of them. I don't know if that had come out by then, but it makes sense for it. So I chose Wave, and I found a font, did like a massive print, cut it out, and then placed it on there, sketch around it. So it was down one leg, Wave, and then I put like chains. I drew it, chains on the other side of the leg. And that's crazy because I feel like there's something psychological behind me doing chains. I wouldn't do it randomly, but I can't remember where it was.
You can't even, you were just flowing basically.
Yeah. So yeah, and then that was first technical Bywave piece, was just one of one.
So sorry to cut you, Kobbi, but you kind of just did it because you were bored.
Literally.
So at this point, it was never, I'm going to start a fashion brand called Bywave, or it was just, I'm bored, I'm going to customize some cargos.
Yeah, so it was that. And then I remember I did that, went to a charity store, got some big jeans, Again, back then, no one was rocking wide leg jeans or wider leg jeans. And I got these big blue ones. And I must have done a sketch. And then I sent it to some girl. So I did my sketch, and this girl used to paint on clothes in my area, literally, lockdown, so I didn't have to travel. And I was like, can you paint this on there? So I think I say that early on because, like, not collaborating, but I was so aware from early on, like, there's some things I can't do. Especially maybe because I was young, when I was trying to make art, it wasn't clicking. So I knew, like, but I want to do this, I can't do it. Find someone to do it. So yeah, she painted them jeans for me. So then at that point I had 2 pieces. And I remember just being like, yeah, like, this is cool. Like, I like it. Like, it's nice to have something that I've just made myself.
But at this point, it's fully just for Kobbi. It's like, you don't care about...
for me, yeah.
So it's not a brand, it's just, I got pieces.
It wasn't a brand. And then I had a tee. I did it, and then I was like, I want to make it a brand, but it was never money motivated. It was just like, I would like to see other people wearing something that I made.
Why?
Because why not? I just thought it was so cool. Like, okay, one thing is, bare people saw the cargos and they was like, this is hard. Like, this is cool. Like, oh, can I have one? So that was definitely one thing. But then the realization, like, other people could be wearing this. I designed it. This was a concept in my head, and now someone is just wearing it. Like, it was such a cool thing to me. So I designed a tee. It was a Lauryn Hill tee.
Why Lauryn Hill?
Favorite artist.
Wow.
Too cold. Listen to my mum. My mum played Lauryn Hill all throughout like my childhood. Like, you know, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Big album.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song on it?
I don't know. It changes all the time. Maybe To Zion.
Oh, banger.
Maybe X Factor. Maybe what's the one with D'Angelo? I Used To. Oh, is that Mary J. Blige? I don't know. There's too many bangers on there. Like, I can't actually decide. But for now, let's say To Zion. Okay. That's how I'm feeling right now. But yeah, so I used to listen to that all the time. And then I remember finding it when I was, say, like 14, 15. And like listening and realizing I knew all these songs from like when I was a young kid. Probably before Ghana. So it might be the only thing I remember before Ghana was just this woman's voice and these beats. And so yeah. And then funny enough, it was at the time, Marino was doing rap tees, isn't it? He was popping. To me, Marino is like that guy, like, man. Bro. Like, no one designs a tee harder than Marino. That guy. So it only made sense for me. Like, I was like, oh, let me do like a rap tee. But it's funny that even from the offset, like, cool, that was Marino was my reference. But I knew, don't do it the exact same way as Marino. Otherwise, you've given nothing to.
You haven't bought anything.
Nothing. Maybe. I don't think Marino had a Lauryn Hill one at the time. So I was like, cool, that's the first one. And then I was like, what can I include that he doesn't? So he always has pictures of the artists. But I was like, let me get the track list from Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and put that on the front. So I tried it. From the offset, I was like, cool, I have my inspiration, my reference, but at the same time, don't go and do exactly what he's done. Switch it up a bit. So yeah, that was the tee. I had a private, you know, Snapchat? I used a private
story.
Private story, yeah. I put in my private story. I was like, does anyone want to buy this tee? Like, I'm going to order a couple, like, let me know. I remember I sold like, I want to say like 14, which is crazy.
That's mad, sick, bro.
Sick. That's so sick.
That was almost like your first shop you sold out?
Yeah. Technically, I sold out because I did pre-order in it. Yeah. But I was like, I didn't tell anyone outside this little private story. Kept it real quiet. But yeah, 14 pieces. And I was like, that's crazy.
So at that point, you knew you had something.
Nah. That's just a thing though. Like it was just like, it was lockdown, isn't it? So I wouldn't say I had something, but I remember thinking like, this is cool and I want to do it again.
Okay. But obviously right now, them times, still the focus is eventually finishing your final year of college and that, going on to uni. You wasn't thinking, oh, okay, now I'm going to start a brand and...
Nah.
So when did that change happen? When did that actually become a thought process?
So I say, me having a brand became a thought process first year. As in, okay, so after that, I dropped the 2 t-shirts, again. And this one, proper website to the public, everyone can access it. That was still in lockdown.
Wait. Sorry, that's... How did you know how to make a website and all of this stuff? You got somebody else to do it for you?
Whoa, okay, this is a 6 story as well. So I use Wix.
Yep.
To this day, I use Wix. Everyone's gonna throw hate on me because everyone uses Shopify.
But your website's wavy. I was on it yesterday.
It took years to get there. Like, not years, but like before my websites were whack. They were terrible.
Got to start somewhere.
Exactly. But for the website, shout out Mac. Me and a guy called Mac Ultra, he did that. He's so crazy. So shout out him for that. So how I made the website, again, like, that's one thing with me is like I've tapped in with so many people, like, and I always want to go back and show love to them because there's a guy called Giolo. He had a brand called Locomodo. And again, I'm seeing this, and to me, it's just so crazy. Like, seeing someone have a website that you can just go and purchase garments off. I'm like, how the hell does someone
how do you
get
get there? Yeah.
So I hit him up and I was just like, how do you do this? Like I'd already started on Wix and I started building it, but it just wasn't working. Like I was really, and he was like, I use Wix as well. So, and I remember he sent me like a screen recording of him like 15 minutes talking me through it. And like,
was this guy from outside London?
Bro, I didn't know him. Random guy just hit up on Instagram, and like the amount of love for that is crazy. That's just so genuine.
And that's rare, you know, Kobbi.
Bro, I
especially
know.
within fashion, a lot of people don't really
I
like collaborating.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I need to like make it clear how all these little steps happen, because people show me love. Like, I feel like that's like God putting people in my path. But he still has his brand. His brand's super sick, called Locomodo. And yeah, so I made the website, went live with the t-shirts. This was still lockdown, and this was when the whole Black History, not Black History, sorry,
BLM.
Black Lives Matter, yeah, Black Lives Matter. So what I made the tees on was I made 2 Black History tees. So I made a Harriet Tubman t-shirt and Martin Luther King t-shirt. So from the offset, it was always, the minute I had the opportunity to do something deeper than clothes, I jumped onto it. Like, I want to be able to speak through this. I want to be able to communicate something.
But at this point, it wasn't Bywave. It was
just Bywave.
It was just Bywave.
No 40.
Okay, cool. So what did the Bywave represent then? What did it mean?
Bywave, so it came off the wave
you mentioned before,
being represented. By was probably by Bathing Ape.
Oh, okay. So you just took inspiration from that.
It's sick, yeah. Made sense.
So then, cool. So so how come it took until uni, when you said you was in first year, for you to realize that you had a brand, even though you had a website, you had a brand name, and you were selling stuff?
Like a brand. I felt like a brand, but I didn't feel like I don't know. It did feel like a brand, I guess. Maybe it's because it was lockdown and we wasn't actually talking to people. So maybe if I was with people and they was like, oh, you have a brand now, I'd be like, yeah, I have. But it was just by myself. So it was just something I was doing with all this time. Maybe that's the reason.
So then, cool. Now we're in uni. What started to change that made you realize, yo, I've got something here?
So first year, what happened? First year. I'm trying to think. Just one thing is I just started devoting so much more time to it. As in, to me, again. So my first year of uni is still in lockdown. I'm still not going into lectures. Like, I was just in a different place. So I had all this time to myself and I was like, cool, I'm getting into clothes now. And everything I do, like, I wouldn't say I want to do it right. That's not the right thing, but like, I'm going to put effort into it to be the very best I can be at it. So the minute I was like, calm, I like clothes, it was like, look at the very best people doing it. So I put so much, I used to watch so many fashion shows.
Ooh, what sort of things were you watching?
Like a lot of Raf Simmons, a lot of, who was popping at the time? You know, a Cold War.
Yep.
He was doing shows. Samuel Ross, so sick. I was watching a lot of Archive Prada. I love old Prada. And then Elites.
Oh, Matthew Williams.
Yeah. Those were the shows I used to watch a lot. And I remember like just spending Vogue Runway app, spending so much time. But for me, it wasn't like, it sounds peak, but it's not peak. It wasn't an enjoyable thing to me. I was like, I'm locking in.
Studying it.
I'm studying. Yeah, like this is study. Like, and it's funny because all those things were so out of my reach at the time. Like, I couldn't imagine making a leather jacket. It didn't seem possible to me. But still, I would look at a runway and I'd take notes of the leather jacket, take notes of how the big denim pants fall on the floor. But I could never imagine myself making my own denim at the time. But yeah, I reckon that's when I started thinking more like, okay, like this is what I like doing, and I'm not doing it enjoyably anymore. Even though I'm having loads of fun with it, like so much fun. At the time, there was nothing more fun to me than sitting in the crib and watching fashion shows. But like, it was lock in, study, take this in. Like, I remember saying to my friend, like, do you watch shows so intensely? Like, after you're finished, are you tired? And he was like, nah, like, just...
He was even thinking, that's weird.
He was like, just like, don't deep it so much. Like, just let them look at the clothes. But I remember I used to stop, pause it, look at the jacket, look at the pants. How does the jacket sit with the pants? How does it fall on the shoe? What's the accessory? Like, it was always, the minute I tapped in, it was like deep. It was really deep in from the offset.
How did you know to study things so intently? Like, did you realize that in order for you to be good in your fashion career, if you want to call it that, you had to emulate greats, like the people you mentioned? Do you know what I mean? Is that something you was just aware of?
Nah, I think naturally that's always what I've done.
Okay.
So before,
So for example, like when you're playing football,
Yeah.
naturally you'll be watching videos on YouTube like we all did.
I wouldn't say that. I was young when I was kicking ball. I reckon it really started when I started playing basketball.
Okay.
So I played basketball, I want to say like year 8. And basketball's mad different from football because you can train by yourself like, a lot. As in you can just get in and train. So my basketball thing was, I think that's a direct transfer from hooping. It's literally, you study game. It's literally study. So you pick a player, you watch how they move, then you go, you train, you move like them, and then you try to put that into the game. So that was the way I analyzed fashion, probably straight from hooping. It's like dissecting the game. That's the deepest way to say it. And dissecting it by a crossover is the equivalent to a trouser. And then the crossover to the short is how the trouser sits with the jacket. Do you get what I mean? So yeah.
Hey, that is a wavy analogy.
Yeah, that's probably how it was, yeah.
So when you were watching all these, in fact, different question.
Yeah.
When you were studying fashion, how did you know who to choose? Were you aware of these people before, or you just came across them on YouTube and that?
That's a sick question. I don't even know, you know. Actually, don't know.
Because the names you mentioned, like, because when we think of fashion, we think about the people that everybody knows. So you mentioned Prada, but like you think about Louis Vuitton or whatever. Maybe you think about people like Marc Jacobs that are more famous. But from saying people like Samuel Ross and Matthew Williams, I feel like not everybody would have known about them. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like it must be Instagram.
Okay.
And I want to say Samuel Ross, I don't know how. Because I really trying to took my brain and know why Samuel Ross. But I think Samuel Ross is so sick because he's so intelligent. Like he's like, it's so much deeper than fashion. The Cold War is so much deeper than fashion. What he does in terms of like his architecture, all the avenues he does, like the way he was tied into so many people. Bro, how did I forget? I was watching so much Off-White, like Virgil.
Virgil.
Like,
I knew he was about to say that.
Yeah, like so much Off-White.
God rest his soul, man.
So I think I actually knew about Samuel Ross
because of Virgil.
Through Virgil. And then I probably knew about Matthew Williams through Virgil as well. So I think Virgil was actually the glue to everything. Yeah, everything. In terms of not being in like mainstream, just straight Louis Vuitton. Funny enough, before he went on to Louis, but like going on to designers, which are a bit not niche, but yeah, you get what I mean. Then Matthew Williams is not the straight.
Not everyone knows about these. Yeah.
Well,
so what were the like things that tied in these designers together? Like when you were watching all these different shows and whatnot, what are the key things you learned from studying?
I just learned about clothes at that point, as in actual. I don't want to say like materials, just the vast amount of materials there are. Because when to us, like, I didn't even think about materials. A jean is a jean, a jacket is a jacket.
A t-shirt is a t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start to see these things that not only look different, but one thing, especially from runways, is how clothes move. Lighter things flow differently. Like heavier things sit. Like, yeah. So that's a lot of it. Just a lot of learning about movement in garments and then materials in garments. Then one thing is, and it's funny enough, I still haven't implemented this now, but I was probably analyzing it 3 years ago, was like color theories. Where people are like, I don't know if color theory is the technical fashion term. I always say this when I talk about fashion because I didn't go to fashion school. So I don't know a thing, like, I'm just freestyling it. So like, I don't know if I use terminologies right, but like the way people put colors together, and it's funny how sometimes they make so much sense, neutral tones together. Sometimes it's crazy, like red and white, and it still makes sense.
But it shouldn't.
It shouldn't. And funny enough, like, well, that was like 3 years ago. I was analyzing that, and I still haven't really. I'm still learning that and thinking how I'm gonna put that into my brand. But I learned that a lot from shows. So yeah, so those are the biggest things.
So during that first year, how did the Bywave brand start to develop as a result of all the studying you were doing?
So Bywave, first thing is I just started sketching things that I wouldn't have thought I could do. Bro, craziest thing ever is that jacket I pulled up in today. I designed that first year of uni.
What?
Obviously, it's been changed a lot, but the actual bones of that was designed first year uni, and that jacket is a reference to a knight's armor. So the panels and the shape of like the structure of a knight's armor. So I remember I just sketched something up, and I remember like obviously it's not on that one now, but I did like a sword, and that was gonna be on the back, and the panels was gonna be made out of, like, to form a sword, and it was gonna be a puffer. So I did that in first year after watching fashion shows and seeing that the structure, like a puffer coat, which has straight lines, it doesn't have to have straight lines. I've seen a jacket maybe for like Off-White or Elite, and it had like a diagonal line. I'm like, yo. So I can use diagonal lines, and then I've got this sick reference like of a knight, his armor. So I can make the curves, use the panels to make that, and then, yeah. So I did that first year, but I had no idea how the hell to make. It was literally impossible. It
seemed impossible.
But it was just cool.
So
Sketch it up.
at that point, you just had what they call blue sky thinking.
Yeah.
You were just drawing whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, the jacket is cold, by the way.
Jacket's crazy.
I keep looking there because Kobbi's bedroom, Jason's wearing it.
He's rocking it
put it
out.
on. He hasn't taken it off once. He's even sweating. Look at him.
He looks swagged out, though. He looks
cold
too
still.
swagged out.
And it's mad because when you describe it meaning to represent like nice armor, like I'm looking at it and it looks like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's interesting you say this stuff, Kobbi, because it got me thinking back to something Jerry Lorenzo was saying, where he was basically talking about eventually your resources start to meet your ideas.
Yeah.
And when you reach that point, it's just like, that's the convergence.
Bro.
So obviously you still need a lot more resource, but 3 years down the line, you've studied, you've designed different things. So now your resources meet your idea of that jacket and you've finally been able to make it. That's flipping wavy, bro.
Do you want to know something so crazy?
Go on.
Right, cool. So Jerry Lorenzo, it's Feel Good owner, isn't it? I watched an interview on Jerry Lorenzo, and he talked about he said something about just being individualistic and being yourself and like not caring about what other people think. And he said something along the lines of like, don't be imprisoned by the perception of others.
That's where it comes from.
The back of that thing was a Jerry Lorenzo reference.
Which interview was this? The one with Karen Frost?
Nah, it wasn't an interview. It was a 10-minute video, and he's just talking about his business at Toy Factories.
Okay.
And yeah, he just said that, and I was like, bro, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
And then I designed, obviously, the moshnet. That's on the back of the moshnet. And the moshnet was kind of the piece that like took things to a different level.
I can imagine. Yeah, that's a good way. That's a good segue actually, because it leads me on to a couple questions I had from before. Because speaking about that line, don't be, what was it? Don't be.
He in the interview he was like, don't be imprisoned by the perception of others. But on the back of the moshnet it just says imprisoned by the perception of others.
Yeah. So that obviously when you were studying these designers and whatnot, did that make you start thinking about what you want the Bywave brand to mean? Because obviously when you first started describing the sort of designers you looked at, you mentioned Samuel Ross, and you was like, a Cold War is so much more than just fashion. Therefore, it represents something. It has a meaning. Do you know what I mean? So at that point, did you start to think, okay, what do I want Bywave to mean? What do I want people to feel like when they wear it and things like that?
Nah. Not the slightest. And funny thing is, I know a Cold War is deeper than garments now, but in the time I was analyzing it, I just thought it was fly clothes.
Wow.
I just thought it was fly. And then, yeah, that was it. Really.
So why did you decide to put that line on the mosh knit sweater?
Whoa, I actually don't know, you know. All I know is I remember listening to that interview, that hitting me like, yo, that's crazy. And then, cool, on the mosh knit, it's a picture of a guy, it's a UK band called GBH. And it was from one of their concerts, guys jumping off the crowd into a mosh pit. And then, to me, a mosh pit, when I was young especially, I used to love mosh pit now. I think it was so sick in it. Like, I don't do it now. I feel like I'm too old. Like, I ain't got the energy like I used to. But a mosh pit is sick because I felt like it was one of them moments where people actually don't care what you look like and what you're doing. Everyone's just in the moment, just turning up. So to me, that was one of the few moments in life I feel like I've experienced where a lot of people aren't imprisoned by perception of others. Literally just sick. They're just turning up, having fun. So that's why I linked the passage to the piece. But it was never like, maybe there was a deeper message in it, of course, and that's how it all gelled together. But it wasn't like, I want my brand to always have deeper messages to it. It was just, this piece is sick. This all makes sense to me. Yeah. So yeah.
I think the mosh knit sweater is wavy.
Yeah, it's
bro. It's interesting you said that's the piece that you would say took the brand to another level? Because I feel the same. Because obviously I'd seen, but I don't know if it was out by the time I had come across
For
your
sure,
stuff.
therefore.
It was out, yeah?
Therefore, yeah.
It was definitely out, yeah?
Funny enough, the moshnet was technically the second drop. Yeah. Second drop ever was the moshnet.
Okay. So, one, I got two questions, and it reminds me of a question that I had from before. And I feel like you kind of answered it inadvertently without realizing, because you were speaking about studying those designers and learning about different types of materials. And that one thing I've really liked about seeing your brand since I first come across it is that you experiment with different stuff from a very, very early point. Whereas a lot of designers I've seen that in a similar point to you are still doing the same stuff they were doing from the start. No issues with that.
Yeah, of
but
course.
you've really experimented with materials and whatnot. One, why have you done that? And my second question is, why do you think the moshnet sweater took the brand to another place? What was it about that sweater that resonated with people?
Which one should I answer first? I'll answer the material question first. Bro, just no limits to anything. Just, I feel like it's when you want to provide something different, you have to look at different materials. It's natural, isn't it? That's the basis of a garment. And because my process as a designer isn't quote unquote traditional, as in like I don't go to a fabric store. Like I have to go and find like references or pictures of a material I want. There's no limit to it. I can find any crazy material or wax or coat and test it out. So it's that combination of no limit on myself and also wanting to provide something else to different people, isn't it?
Was it daunting experimenting with these different materials?
The crazy thing to me, I don't even feel like I've used that many materials.
Okay.
I feel like everything to me has been cotton based. Obviously, now I'm slowly getting into it. Like I've done more stuff. But daunting stuff, it's just interesting, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun. When that sample lands, like I have no idea how this is gonna look like. I remember the side bag, the first one, because that was my first time using nylon, and I thought it was sick. The first bag, the first version, and then I used it bears, and I slowly stopped using it. And then I was like, this bag isn't as sick as I think, because I have a Prada bag and I have a 40F bag, and I choose the Prada bag. If I'm stepping out, I wear the Prada bag. So I went back, I talked to the manufacturer, and we talked about having like a nylon that has more structure to it, and then changing the shape. We did a lot of things, but yeah, the main thing was the shape of the nylon. So when I got the 40F bag that is ready to drop and has dropped now, I wear that over the Prada one. Like I chose it over. That's when I knew, okay, we can drop this, is because I don't want to wear my Prada one now. I want to wear the 40F. So yeah, first going into the material, when you're patient with everything, it's not daunting. It's just like, now we're going to have this procedure of me learning about you and learning how you need to be used.
Do you know what, Kobbi, yeah? The answers you've given are reminding me like almost like another note I took before this interview, yeah? But obviously how I came across you was you replying to that tweet, to Clint's tweet. I remember when we were off camera before we started recording, you mentioned, I didn't really know if I should do it or whatnot, but you did it.
Yeah.
Coupling that mentality or that answer to you talking about how working with the new materials and trying new things isn't daunting, it makes me feel like you're proper brave. That's something that maybe you don't think yourself, but really. I've gauged that. Do you know what I'm saying? So my question is, okay, you don't necessarily think you're brave, but do you think it's important for designers to put themselves out there and experiment with new stuff? And if that's the case, why do you think you've just been able to do that without even acknowledging that what you're doing is brave in a sense? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I don't know. It doesn't feel brave to me because I feel like you just have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose ever. Like, maybe people aren't going to like it, or maybe the sample will be bad. But as long as you have this mentality that you're still going in the right way, well, you could completely mess up. But now that you've done that mistake, you're not going to do it again. So you're moving in the right direction. And so I say back then, that was the thing for me. And now it's just like, I feel like the people I surround myself with. So like, cool, Jace has a brand. And
what's his brand? Shout out.
No Time for Tears. Hardest in the game.
Up.
Hardest in the game. To me, he is the definition of brave. I say his thing pushes boundaries 10 times harder than mine. Like, so when you're around people like that, obviously he doesn't feel anything to you. Like, because he's given something that no one in the UK is, or not even in the world, is trying to push right now. So like being surrounded by people that are doing things that are quote unquote, how do I word it? Brave or like not usual.
Not the norm.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier because to us this is the norm. This is how we move in.
Yeah. Do you know what, Jace? I kind of sorry, how can I say Jace? Do you know what, Kobbi? I kind of fixate on things like that because I've said this a lot of times on the podcast and that. Like when I was growing up, especially like, okay, it wasn't that long ago, but bro, we weren't encouraged, and I'm not saying you lot are, but we weren't encouraged to try different things. Like everybody I was around just wanted to kind of fall into the norm, and there's nothing wrong with that. Whereas part of the reason why I wanted you on the podcast, and I kind of said this at the beginning, was the fact that I feel like you, man, you're just like, you just do whatever you want, bro. Yeah. And I like that. Yeah. Like, to you guys, you don't really think it's a thing, but to me, who's been on the other end of it, where I felt like I've had to just be the type of person that people expect me to be or whatever, I rate it so highly. Like, what is it about you and your generation that just makes you so willing to just be alt, if you want to call it that?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's one of them ones when you're inside it, you can't understand why. But I don't even know if it's my generation, because slowly what's happening is alt is becoming norm. So then everyone is now fitting into alt, which is norm. That's mainstream.
Sorry to cut you there, Kobbi, but do you know the comedian Drewski?
Yeah.
Have you seen his post when he done the misunderstood thing?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you're alluding to, how everyone tries to kind of be like that.
Bro, Carti's mainstream now. And Carti is, especially what he's on right now, is not quote unquote normal. So now it's differentiating, like, not even like I'm trying to be like the one who's officiated, like I know, because I don't. But like some people are just being themselves, and then some people are copying the people being them, not copying the people, but not, how do I word it? Just following, not being themselves on the account of following someone else. I don't know how to word it.
It's hard to articulate, but I know exactly
you get what
you
I'm
mean.
saying, isn't it? So like,
exactly
they're not being themselves, they're being different, and it's technically alt, but it's not because they want to. It's because that is slowly becoming a new mainstream. But like, again, to me, like, I always let people do what they want to do, and like, who am I to judge them? Just a guy.
So bringing it, sorry for that little tangent, but bringing it back to the brand, like Bywave, obviously I've almost tried to pull like the meaning out of you. But when people wear Bywave, like, what does the brand represent? Like, what do you want people to feel when they wear it? If that's something you think about.
Alright, cool. So, funny enough, as I said, Bywave, when it was just about rapping, so like nothing. But the 40th part stands for the future. And that's supposed to be about just aligning yourself and what you're doing in the moment and what your plans are to better your future and other people's future around you. That's what 40th means. So everything, if it's how you act in the day to what your whole year was like, but it was all about bettering the future. Does that link how, I don't know if that links to like how people feel wearing the clothes though. That's so different to me, and that's something I'm so aware I need to build and gel more together. Do you get what I mean? Because I want that to be coherent. I want it to be aligned to that. But I feel like for me right now, I just want people to feel confident in their clothes and feel different. That's one thing I can't deny I'm trying to do, is when I design something, I'm trying to make it different. Like, even, cool, I keep referring to this tracksuit only because I'm wearing it, isn't it? But instead of having a huge logo on your tracksuit, you're just wearing a plain black tracksuit. But it's deeper because the paneling is different, and there's ribbon here, but there's normal coin here, and then there's a little thing here, which is still the logo, but it's in a different material. And like, so when you're wearing this, deep down, you know you're not wearing the same thing as someone who's got a massive logo in their tracksuit. They're different. And I feel like with outwardly doing something different, as in I've put these clothes on, it comes with confidence, because you had to be confident to do that. You had to be confident. There's some of my designs, like I have these jeans called Silver Surfers. They're like wax silver denim, with flared zip at the back. Sick, but like when you're putting them on, like, you know people are gonna look at you. It's a different type of garment, like, especially if you go to like just a casual place, like, it's different. But once you broke that barrier of putting them on, like, that's you, bro. You need to be confident for whatever you're gonna do now, because you've done it. You've done the hard part. You've put them on. You stepped out. So you're just on your own swag at that point.
30. Hey, Kobbi, I love that answer because I like the fact that you are cognizant of the fact that you don't have all the answers yet.
Nah.
Because you're so early on in your journey, bro. It's literally only been 3 years.
Yeah. 3, like, struggle free. Maybe I say 2 years properly. I've been doing it.
It's crazy. Trust me, bro. You're so much further than, and not like it's a competition because it's not, but like what you've done in this amount of time, it goes back to what I was saying to you off camera. Like, trust me, you've done more than you think. So I like the fact that there's so much room for growth. Speaking of growth, though, I feel like I've seen growth in the way you design in a very short space of time. Because we speak about the statement collection, and then the which one?
Sick collection. Yeah,
Sick collection, and then I was looking, and now I compare that to the Gen collection, and I feel like the Gen collection kind of almost to me represented you almost like trying to move away from like the graphics that you kind of mentioned before, and now you're starting to design different things where you had like the asymmetric fleece and whatnot, wavy. What's been that process like of moving from that to this, and how did you kind of learn to do this? Do you know what I mean? Like what has been what has the process been like?
Okay, cool. Funniest thing is it sounds like a process, but it hasn't really been, because how do this will describe it perfectly. So this was part of Gen collection.
Yeah.
When I dropped Statement collection, I had this hoodie. So I've had this hoodie for like a year.
But Statement collection this wasn't part of the Statement.
It wasn't part of Statement collection, but it could have been, as in it was ready. And then I went on to design these after Statement collection. But so it's always been there. That's always been the, like, not the goal, but that was always my intent, was to design, say, more like what the Gen collection looks like. But it was just, I think it was just timing that stopped it. It wasn't a thing which I say I developed. I feel like for the last year and a half, this has been the way I've been designing. And like, I think my next like 3 drops, people will be able to see like cement. Okay, that's what he's doing. I think it'll be evident after that. But yeah, Statement collection was cool. I remember I named it Statement collection because literally I was just trying to stamp something in it, like say this is what I'm on, isn't it? So I remember what was in there. There was 2 pairs of denim, Silver Surfers, which we spoke about, and then a cracked denim, which is to me like peak fashion. That's sick. Like, I don't wear Silver Surfers anymore, but cracked denim, I'll put them on. I'll be like, yeah, these are fly. So there was that, and then funny enough, the AC fleece was in Statement collection.
Oh,
it was, yeah, it was in. And then when I put in, it wasn't technically in Gen collection. It was just part of the drop. I just threw on the extra. So that's why I mean it crosses over. I've been on the whole like simplistic and refined design, and and then there was a dress in there, like a mesh maxi dress.
Sick.
Again,
sorry to cut you, Kobbi, but thank you so much for bringing that up, because I would have been so angry if I forgot to mention what I was going to mention. So cool. Again, you're only 3 struggle years into your brand and that, but I've seen you venture into the women's wear space as well, which I find very commendable, because I'm like, bro, that's not easy. For one, we're not women, bro. You get it? It's different. So I rate the fact that you've decided to do that. What made you want to do that, and what has it been like producing women's clothing?
What made me want to do it is the same thing, like no limit, just do it, bro. Like, as in, it's there. Why not? Like, I remember there's a period of time where I just switched and everything was women's wear. I was only watching women fashion shows.
Yeah, what shows? What sort of brands?
Mimu, yeah, it's Prada.
Yeah.
Loewe.
Yeah,
Loewe. I was watching quite a lot of their shows, and then just Louis Vuitton women's instead. Prada women's was really nice, but yeah, just that little transition, just to be heavy on women's wear, and then so I was just like, I want to design some stuff. The mesh dress I designed a mesh top before, and then I made the mesh dress. I don't know, I was smiling because there was a reason behind it. It's a little bit.
Oh, it's got something to do with
it's a bit long, innit? But made the mesh dress in it. Made the mesh dress, and then like didn't put it out for ages. It was just like away from it. But in terms of women's wear, again, I took a year off, because after dropping the dress, one, I realized how deep it is. Like, it's a hard game to just, what I did, it's a hard game to just YOLO it. freestyle it. Like I earned my repercussions in it because I knew like I didn't really know what I was doing. So now like I've just started doing it again, and when I'm doing it, like I'm talking to a lot more women designers, asking for opinions, asking for fits, like learning about low waist because it's wider at this point, and like they want a crop but probably not that high on this. So yeah, lucky enough, every time I've done women's wear, so I've done a mesh dress, I did a crop top, and then I did like a maxi bodycon dress. It was all materials that hug your body, so I could kind of get away with not really knowing what I was doing. Do you get what I mean? Because it's gonna hug the body. So I did do a level to it, but again, like I'm open to be like, I just didn't know enough, and I'm learning more now, and it's gonna allow me to do different materials and really get into it. So yeah, hopefully plan is to get a women's wear drop in before the end of the year. Nice. That's the plan.
Nice. I'm excited to see what it is, man. I'm excited to see what you come out with, because bro, everything you're bringing out, it's like, bro, I don't know what to expect, which is good.
And this one is probably, again, this is a complete switch up. Like, I'm not even gonna give out why, but again, it'll be like, yo, this is completely different from anything else.
Have you got like pictures and that or samples?
Yeah. I'll show you off camera, but I've got the tech pack finalized. I literally need to order it soon.
Okay. Yeah, this is 30. You know what, Kobbi, like, I'm liking how the conversation we're having is almost like answering a lot of the sort of questions I had about you, just like, and it's like, I'm not even asking certain questions. I'm just seeing it through the things you're saying. Do you know what I'm saying? And one thing I like about this conversation so far is that we're talking about how there's been a huge amount of growth in a short space of time, yeah? And okay, you're a bit younger, but from when you started the brand to where you are now, age-wise, for you personally, I feel like that's a point in a young person's life where they grow so much and they don't even realize, you know what I'm saying? So how has your personal growth as a man growing into a young man, how is that reflected in what you're designing and what you're putting out with the brand?
I think first thing it's allowed me to do is just handle situations so much better. Like things that would used to like maybe turn my whole week upside down, like it's just a little brush, like it's calm, like we're gonna find a way around it. So in terms of business wise, it's helped me just like handle stuff better. And I think uni did that the most, because my third year uni was like, it was long, like I just struggled with it, and like, but we persevered, isn't it? We're here, and I learned that things will get long, but you're gonna be here. Thank the Lord for another day, always, and just keep it stepping. And then that mentality is how it allowed me in business just to move a bit more level-headed, like just keep it cool all the time. In terms of designing, I just feel like I'm getting older, so like naturally my clothes are gonna mature with me, because I normally design. It's funny enough, when I'm designing, I think that's why I struggled with women's wear for a bit too, because I
design it for yourself.
I want to wear it. It's just what I'm feeling in the moment, what I want to be rocking. So yeah, that's probably one of the major things. It's just my clothes, I think they're gonna mature with me. But I've always feel like I've always designed it in a mature way on the offset. So when I dropped, I want to see what piece. I designed the AC fleece. I think I was 20 when I designed the AC fleece. And the AC fleece is no logo, ribbed cotton knitwear zip up, which I can imagine someone who's like 40 going to work pulling up in that. And that was the intent. It's funny because I know my customer base there is probably literally 0%. I think I have 0 40-year-olds buying it. But I designed that with the intent of imagining it there. So that's how I give something different to a game, which is doing something where people are doing things similar, because my reference there was a 40-year-old man instead of a 20-year-old guy.
That's so interesting, because it kind of goes back to what we was talking about before we started recording, when we was talking about like balancing the want for money or good business and your design. So like you're talking about making a piece that would have aligned more with 40-year-olds that aren't in your customer base. So therefore that was a risk. Like
it was a risk.
Is it one that paid off? And
probably not. No, probably that piece didn't do numbers. Like it didn't go viral at all. It didn't do numbers.
But it's cold to me. It's cold though.
Like, it's probably cold to so many people. And it's funny because when you take them risks, you get a lot of, oh, this is cold. But sometimes you don't get the purchases. And bro, to anyone that can be a bit like, oh, this is long. But once you realize that, cool, I'm in this for the long run. Like, although it's cold, is so vital. because that's someone that's tied in now. They didn't buy a jumper with a huge logo in it because it was popping at the time. As someone who is tapped into you and your brand and your vision, and they'll grow with you. So maybe right now you might not get that £100 flip, you might not make that sale, but now you've got someone that's devoted to knowing what you're doing. They like your vision, and sometimes that's so much deeper in the long run game for sure.
And that's a major key.
Yeah, major
key.
Yeah, DJ Khaled. Rugby. Do you know what DJ Khaled has this meme, yeah? DJ Khaled is the funniest man in the world, by the way. Yeah. Do you know, I'm not going to get into it because I'll start talking about it for 20
this conversation was going so serious.
Yeah, but DJ Khaled, bro. So
Kobbi, you made me forget. No, cool. I remember my next question now.
I won't get. I was about to waffle on about DJ Khaled. I'm not going to yap on about him now.
We'll do that after.
Yeah.
So, so how do you balance that business need with experimenting as a designer? And the reason I say that is because when a lot of designers are starting off, particularly within the streetwear space, it's like, people can focus on, cool, I've got these t-shirts. People have bought into my logo, not necessarily my brand. So I'm just going to keep pumping this out. I'm going to put it on socks. I'm going to put it on a t-shirt. I'm going to put it on a sweater. I'm going to put it on jeans. Cool. And they're selling it. How do you balance having to make money with, I'm going to try it and make this asymmetric fleece that 40-year-olds will wear? Do you know what I mean?
Literally I don't. Probably, it's something that I've grown to work on, isn't it? And like I had conversations with, I was talking to Sid about it because technically I don't have a logo. I've only just got a logo when I did the new website rebrand.
What would you say is the logo then?
Technically the logo, if I was going to say anything, it's at the top of the website and it's like this 4TF, like it's all in one. But before that, it was probably this T that was kind of like the logo, but it's not a logo. This isn't a logo because you can't put this on a shoe. But never had a logo. So never had the intent to ever use that methodology of like print lows on, So money-wise, and I remember saying to Sid, me and him was talking, I was like, yeah, I'm going to scrap that. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, and he was like, this is a business you're running. So you have to give something which is also just based off a logo. And what our conversation was about is just giving both, because you can give both. You can do that. You can give a piece which has no logo in it like this, and then you can throw one of these in the collection and you accommodate both of your audiences. So that's what I'm working towards. Like, again, not there yet. I'm finding ways to do it in a way which is authentic to me. Like, this tee perfectly articulates that because it's embroidered so you can see it, but it's low key. It's not shining at you. Like, I can wear it with this jumper and it's not a part of like the fit which is screaming at you. It's really low key, but technically still a logo tee. Technically it's still people repping 40F and it's still doing what a business needs to do, but I'm trying to do it in my own way.
Sick.
Haven't put this out. I don't even know if it'll work. I might put it out and it may just be too basic for people to catch on to. Then we go rework it, think again, find another way.
But then on the other side, it may attract new customers that you hadn't had before. It may attract somebody that's a bit older like me. Bro, Kobbi, I rate you so highly, man. I rated you before this conversation, but the way you're answering these questions, I'm thinking, bro, media trained or something, because these answers are silly. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I can't even remember, man. It will probably come back to me. But the questions I've got now are more so, yes, in fact, I remember now. I knew it would come back to me. Trust your gut, Jerome. But anyway, obviously you studied economics, and we're talking about the business side of things. Did your degree help you with, like, not at all?
No.
What?
It's like, economics. First of all, economics is not business at all. Economics is so far from business.
Because it's so macro, like.
Yeah, even like on a small scale, like even macroeconomics is so not like business. Bro, if you go to a uni campus, and you go to economics student, like, oh, you study business, watch how they react.
Okay.
Just watch. I actually want you to try it. Just be like, oh, you do business, innit? You see how they react. So it's so far from business. Like, it's a social science at the end of the day.
True.
So like, didn't help me at all.
So what are the main things you've learned from a business perspective whilst running Bywave?
I don't know. It's funny because business-wise, I feel like it seems like I don't think about things, but maybe my brain is so business-minded that every move is like always got that in the back of my head. Because cool. even though I make a piece, I always know that it's got to sell this much to cover costs, and we've got to do this much to be able to do another collection, like have enough to sample again and then get inventory in and do it again. So maybe that's it. But it's so funny how so as I said, when I started it was just a pure passion. It was just for pure passion. No, money wasn't the thing. And then I saw money from it, and I was like, calm, this is sick. Like, let's run this up. Let's tee this up. And then there was a period of time where I was really like kind of money focused in it. And then when I went into third year of uni, and I stopped designing. I barely designed in my third year.
Why?
Well, I just couldn't do it. My head wasn't in the right place. Like, uni was hard, stuff was happening, just couldn't design. It was really peak time because that used to be the thing that used to give me that tranquility. I just couldn't do it.
That was your safe space.
Yeah, couldn't do it. So barely design. When I came back, money was like, it's kind of like the last thing on my head right now. And I honestly mean that, as in, I really do things, first of all, for the sake, not even the sake of art, but just to make beautiful pieces, beautiful garments. And now it's about packaging them in beautiful shoots. And I think the first thing to do that was cool. Me and Sal, we just did a movie, like we did a short film. Like, yeah.
Which one? The
Move Out Day one.
Yeah,
that
oh,
was
what Sal
Sal shot that, he directed
well
that.
done, bro. Bro, you do other stuff. Why didn't you tell me that?
He does bare stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Too much for me to cover right now. He's the one of them guys just can do everything.
Who scripted that? I thought it was cold.
I scripted it, I brought it to Sal, and then he like tweaked stuff so we could
actually do it.
Yeah, bring it to reality. But yeah, at tangent, let's talk about Sal. Bro, none of this would be the way it is without Sal. As in none of this. So as I said, he hit me up on Twitter one time, we talked up, and he was like, I want to put something on these trousers. I was like, sick, go for it. As I said, first time we linked up was for a shoot, flicked up that day. But things Sal did, he connected me like to so many amazing people. Like, Sal was like the glue, and just glued to it. Mad talented. Like for the statement collection, because I was at uni and I was going through stuff. Like I remember I sent him the pieces, he creatively directed and shot everything.
Wow.
And I think...
And you weren't even there?
I wasn't there, bro. That's all Sal. And the most liked picture on Bywave's post was Sal created direct. It was a cracked denim. It's an artist called Bib Samo. And it was like an anime reference he picked up. And he created directed that, edited it, shot it, did everything. So yeah, man, Sal's the guy. And like for that short film, I've always been so focused on the garments. And it was about building a world deeper than the clothes. And yeah, bro, just did all of that. Color graded it. Bro, we stayed up like one time we stayed up nights on nights just working on that, because it's funny because that movie, it captures so much of what 40F is, which is just people just trying stuff, bro. Like we'd never done anything that high quality before. We'd never shot anything. We did it in my house. Like
that was your crib.
Yeah, that's my crib. That's my crib. Like John, who acted, was my homie. Jace was there. He was like, I run everything by Jace. Like again, another person just dumb creatively talented, and like there's so many people behind it, like that I run things by and that are helping. So yeah, that movie it perfectly articulates 40F, because to me, sick. I just think it's a sick movie. I think what we did was crazy there. And it was just so much learning on the rip. Like, Sal got the mics, he did the sound engineering. And if anyone pays attention to that, the sound is so good because it's no speaking. We stayed up nights. I remember we had one argument. What was he arguing about, bro? What's everything? Nah, what was he arguing about? There's one sound. Oh, it was like the watch. So he sent me it and the audio didn't transfer right. So I was like, bro, this is whack. Like, this is terrible. He's like, yo, like, it's sick. Trust me, blah, 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 blah. And that was just like the boop of the watch. Bro, we spent an hour talking about the sound. Like, bro, it's not it. Nah, it's it. It's it. So yeah, it's funny because that's just like, we just did it. No one gave us a right to do anything. I don't feel like I have the right to design the clothes I do. Like, I didn't go to school for it. I didn't do that. So I didn't go to school for camera, like videography. No one taught him how to edit. No one taught him how to color grade, sound engineering, nothing. So yeah, everyone around me just doing stuff. Jace, whole brand. No, doesn't go for fashion school. Studies economics just like me, just doing it. So yeah, that's one thing I say. If people around me just no limit. Everyone's just doing stuff.
Hey, bro, I'm smiling so much as you're talking because I love this shit, you know.
Nah, it's sick.
Like, I love seeing young people, young brothers, young sisters, whoever, just coming together and creating shit, bro.
It's sick.
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? Because you made a really good point where you was like, no one gave us the right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, man are saying, forget all of that stuff. We've got an idea. Let's bring it to life.
Facts.
You're being resourceful. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not saying I have to spend X amount to get this well-known videographer. You're saying, bro, I'm trying to do this project. What can you do? Bro,
Whoa.
you know, we need someone for this. And that's how so many things start. Do you
It
get what I'm
is.
saying? You think back to all like the Kanye sort of family tree with Virgil, Don
Matthew
C,
Williams.
Matthew Williams, Heron Preston. It's like, that's what they were doing, bro.
Just
They were just
outside,
learning on the
doing
job
stuff.
outside. And now look at them. They've all got even their own separate family trees to a certain
Yeah,
extent. Virgil has
sick.
Samuel Ross. You get what I'm saying?
So sick. Bro.
So, bro, it's incredible to see, man.
Yeah.
But honestly, Kobbi, this has been an incredible interview.
Yeah.
I'm going to start rounding off. I've got 2 more questions. So the first one is, from like everything you've done so far, what are the main things you've learned about running your own brand and being a designer?
You have to love it. You have to love every element of it. You have to love losing. Sounds crazy, but you actually have to love the losses. 1, you learn so much from them. But 2, like, it's part of the game. And you have to like every element of the game. You have to like them samples that come through the whack. You have to like it when you're staying up at dumb hours of the time just because you know the manufacturers are up that time and you're trying to get them quick responses. Because there's beautiful parts of it which are really nice. Like, cool. Nothing I love more than when the samples come through, they're really nice. I get to flick up on them and put them on my gram. That's so fun. Sick. Everyone's there. Yo, your guns are hard. It's nice, isn't it? But it's the other side of it when you're up stressing because someone's not replying to you and they're not doing that, or someone's bailed on you and you've got to sort things out. And it comes with so much pressure, like, because it's just you. Like, I say once every month, I sit there and I deep, like, this is just me. As in, like, this is an idea I had and now I'm trying to make this my life. Like, it's crazy. And sometimes that can play a mental toll on you.
It can weigh heavy on you
so
sometimes.
much. So I think you got to be mentally strong, and that ties into like other elements of life. So like I'm bare hyper focused on like mental health. Like I try and meditate a lot. I'm a Christian, so I'm really deep into my connection with God and trying to bring God into whatever that looks like. But after we do a drop, I'll fast, isn't it? I won't eat until it's drop day, then pray every hour, and just. But that's like having the mental grounds. I do a lot of exercise, but being so mentally stable because it's such a tasking game. Like,
there's so many ups and downs.
And you have to be that stable factor. You can't go with the ups and the downs. I learned that. Like, and it's peak because there's some elements of my life. Like my mom, I remember saying to my mom, I just went to watch Sanford, one of my favorite artists, and I was like, I'm actually excited. I haven't been excited in ages. And she was like, that's not normal. Like, you should be excited. And I'm like, but with excitement, if I get gassed about this drop, it's done sick. Then when the manufacturer's telling me this isn't working, I'm going down with it. And when you're down, you can't work. So I don't know if I'm living right. That's one thing I always deep. I don't know if I'm living right, but I'm in this real trying to keep straight line with all the ups and downs right now because I'm so hyper focused on this goal which we're working towards.
Bro, I can't lie, that's real.
Yeah.
Everything you said is so real, and it's like I want to give you advice, but I don't have the answers. But one thing Jack Harper kind of showed me, you know Jack Harper, Eliza.
Yeah, their brand is sick.
Incredible, innit?
They're peak.
Yeah, incredible.
And they're peak because it's deeper than Garms.
You get it.
As in they do this like, they did like a book for bag giveaway. Yeah. Like, they're sick. It's him and, is it Noza?
Noza. Yeah.
Funny enough, I've never ever tapped in with them. Like,
I'll connect you lot still.
But they're sick.
I'll connect you lot. But I asked Jack a question where basically somebody reached out to him and was like, oh, I'm 16. I want to start a brand. What should I do? And Jack was basically saying, you're young. Like, don't worry about starting a brand yet. Still experience stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
Obviously, you saw that, yeah?
Yeah, I saw that.
Obviously, you're not 16. You're a bit older than that. But I do feel like it's important and I've kind of said this to a few people on the podcast, we're still young. and we're achieving things. So do make sure that every now and then you take the time out to recognize what you've done. Do you know what I'm saying? And give yourself a bit of grace to chill a bit. Obviously, I know we've all got big dreams and big goals that we need to fulfill, but you're a human being as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So the reason why your mum was kind of upset when you said you're not excited is because she's thinking, yo, my son is 22. He's achieving so much more than the average 22-year-old. Like, wow, like he should be happy. Do you know what I'm saying? So, bro, just remember that you deserve to take a break and be happy. You know what I'm saying?
But I remember, funny enough, I remember seeing the Jack Harper interview, and when he said that, like, again, as I said, shouts to them. They're so hard. But I remember being like, I disagree, but like, I feel like everyone's so different, because there's some people that for them, starting at that age is exactly their path. I think the biggest thing for that is everyone's paths is different.
100%.
So just because someone took their time and they did it when they were 25 and it went well for them, doesn't mean that you should follow that. And just because someone started when they were 16 and they did it well, doesn't mean you should follow that. So really, like, looking on what do I want right now, what are resources, what is my lifestyle saying right now, and then let that be what allows you to make your decision. Like you, like really just you. But yeah,
that's two sides to every coin.
Yeah,
100%.
so
I agree with you. So
true.
two things can be right. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with everything you're saying. Everyone just has to know thyself. Yeah,
I think when I met Jace, he may have been 16 or 17, and he had a brand back then, and he was making crazy pieces.
Still doing his thing till now.
He's still
so true.
So some people it works, and some people it doesn't.
Facts. So cool, Kobbi. We've come to the last question.
Yeah,
you'll know what the last question is from watching the podcast and whatnot. Thank you for that. Thank you for supporting, bro. I appreciate it. Because this conversation is happening because even though I had seen your stuff and I was watching your journey, you hit me up the other day, and I was like, to say, I've been watching your stuff. And then that's what made me deep. Hold on a minute. Kobbi's ready. Because that's one thing I always think about. Like, as much as there's a lot of great designers and brands that I look to, I want them, some of them, I want them to build up their story a bit more, because I don't want to speak too soon. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But the other side of that is that I'm going to tap in early, because I know that this isn't going to be the last time we speak. Do you know what I'm saying? I say to so many people on the podcast, next time we talk in 2, 3, 4 years, you may have an office in fucking Paris. Me and Rash and Gabs are gonna come there and record. You know what I'm saying? You can fly. You pay for my ticket. You can expense that for me or whatnot. So but last question, Kobbi. What would be your main piece of advice to the next generation of fashion designers or anyone that really wants to get into fashion?
I say, bring something that isn't present. So that starts by you analyzing the game from whatever that looks like. If that's fashion shows, if that's just scrolling on Instagram, but be a student of the game. That's something I always preach in my life. Like, be a student of the game, analyze it. And then at that point, you're going to see a market, you're going to see a pocket. And if that pocket aligns with something that you want to give to the world, that's what you need to push. Because there's so many people doing the same thing. And when you do the same thing, it's only luck that will maybe let you pop for maybe a year, 2 years. If you want to build something with longevity, you got to find that gap in the market, and that gap's got to be true to what you are. Feel that. I think that's what I'd say.
Kobbi, thank you so much, my brother. Fantastic conversation, bro. As I said, bro, I can't lie, them answers were... People would have thought I gave you the questions before or something, because, honestly, them answers were incredible, man. And
thank you so
your
much,
last,
man.
even as you were just talking, like, it reminded me of when I was speaking... Rash, remember we were speaking to Dagye in Paris, and he was talking about how, like, the people that are almost like lit or popping right now, especially from a fashion perspective, are the people that went the other way. They didn't feel like they had to be like all the other brands or all the other designers. They, as you were saying, they kind of worked out what was meaningful to them and different, and they lent into that. So as you're talking, I'm like, you're part of that ilk. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can already envision the incredible journey you're going to have within fashion. And I'm so excited for you, bro. And anything we can do to support that, we're going to do, bro.
Thank you so much.
So big up you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. If you could just look into the camera and say, do you know what? One last question. What can we expect next from Bywave?
What can we expect next? Because I remember when I used to answer this question, I used to say crazy stuff. I'd be like, I wanna have a show at Paris Fashion Week. And now my mentality is so switched to just like brick by brick, literally just take it. Funny enough, I think my first collection of 2024 is called Brick by Brick. Nice. But like, just taking it collection by collection I'm trying to elevate in every angle. So better garms, better website, better storytelling, world creating, everything. But just really just toning it down in small steps. That's the main thing. I think I like to get one more collab in. I have a brother called Dus. He's an artist, Pakavi.
Oh, you've collabed with him already, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna do one more, yeah?
I want to work with him my whole life. That's my brother, isn't it? So as much as we can get in naturally. But yeah, do some crazy stuff with him. I think I'd like to get that into.
Sick. Cool. So Kobbi, if you could just look into that camera, tell them where to find you, where to find the brand. And
Kobbi Banks, Kobbi.Banks on the IG, Bywave.40F on the IG. Yeah, that's it really. I'm trying to divert to all the other stuff, but yeah, those are my main 2 platforms.
Cool. And you know where to find us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Obviously, you know where to find us on WMTV_LDN on Instagram, TikTok, and obviously you're probably on YouTube right now. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Keep it locked. Thank you for watching another episode of Where's My Podcast. If you ever want to take in future episodes on the go, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Whilst you're there, please leave us a 5-star review. It would really help. And also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, WMTV_LDN, to keep up to date with the latest goings on in UK fashion. Keep it locked.